I'm in trouble! I'm in big trouble! This is gonna be a real tough fight, unless the battle here is that I don't have any mana to attack him with. So I really need to use my standard attacks. Oh, I'm dead. I knew it. I knew it. I had no health. I was trying to find a save point to help myself, but I found a boss that took away my mana. You sweat a lot? Oh yeah. Unless you're saying I'm sweat a lot in fighting, but also it's warm in here. This is why I don't like the summer all that much, because in order for me to stream properly, I need to what's it called? I need to make sure that everything in this room is closed off, because otherwise you get a lot of sounds from outside, you get a lot of sounds from everywhere, and I leak sound everywhere as well. Because you may not have noticed, I do tend to get quite loud sometimes. But because you do that, everything is closed off, you don't get a lot of fresh air supply in here. Which normally isn't a problem, because if it's like 19 degrees outside, it doesn't really get all that warm. But during the summer right here, we're having quite warm days. Right now it's been about 30 degrees for the last couple of days. Right now it's turned down to a little bit like 24, 25. So I think like it's okay, I can do this. But because of that, it is already quite warm, and then if I have two computers blasting heat into this room, then what's going to happen is that I have a little bit of an issue where right now I'm just blasting heat into a room that's already quite warm, and I have no way to get the heat out. Air conditioning is not a thing in this country. It just doesn't exist. I do have like a mobile unit, but that is so loud that you're going to hear that on stream, and that's going to cause quite a bit of trouble. So last week, we also had quite a warm day, and I wanted to do like a 5-hour stream, but I cut out short for 3 hours. And I tried to run the air conditioner during like the small break that I took, like the 5 to 10 minute break I took, just to have some like a quick refreshment. But it just doesn't really do much. So this is why I don't really like the summer for making content, because it's too warm. It is too warm, and I don't like to complain about the temperature because I feel it's such a shit excuse. It's like, oh man, it's too warm. You can't stream. You can't make videos because it's too warm. Oh man, boo-hoo. You have such a hard job. You're gonna complain about that. You're gonna complain about that. Well, there's people outside working on the road in the like burning sun right now, without any shade, without any like access to water right as they want to, but they have to do hard physical labor, and you can't just play a game while you're too warm. Boo-hoo. You know, like I don't want to complain about that. But at the same time, it does result into this, which is annoying. It's a little bit annoying, right? European can be that hot? Yes. Well, actually, let me show you. So one of the things that we have right here, especially in mid-northern Europe, we don't have extremely long weather, like extremely long winters that you have in Canada. Like in Canada, they can have winters from September forwards until June. They had snow in June this year. We don't have that. We have like the last time I really saw snow and ice that I could consistently skate on and have like a good old long winter with was years ago, like 2020, and before that was 2012. We also have no really extreme summers. Like if you go to Spain or if you go like more south, you're gonna have extremely warm periods of time where it's gonna be super, super warm. It's gonna be like you're gonna have to wait for the rain to come down. We don't have a rain season that we need to have in order for our rivers to stay floating. We don't have that. But because of that, like our country isn't made for large changes to weather. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you. These right here are the perfect examples of European weather. If I show you this as someone who lives in a really warm climate, this might seem very, very funny to you. This is an extreme temperature warning chart toward the UK, but you could also have that in Europe right here. Like if you see like this red, you can also see that right here. We have that as well. So basically what we have is that you have, listen, this is really, really dangerous, right? We have extreme summer temperatures of 27 to 33 degrees Celsius, which have the governments literally issue heat warnings, because if you go outside, if you go around, it is 33 degrees maybe, so you might die. This is real. This is real. As Arturia says, no extreme summers. We have summers of 30 plus degrees to the point of enforcing a heat protocol. And then you have Lana saying, right, listen, 30 degrees? What are you, bitch made? 30 degrees is like, it's a nice breeze. If I go outside, it's 30 degrees. That is freaking nice. That is lovely weather, because in some places, it gets to be 40 every day, or maybe even 50. That is not what we have here. We have 33 at most, 34, 35. But the problem is that our infrastructure is not made for this. This is also the same with the snow. Like this right here. This is literally from a news article which said, there is extreme snow in Holland. All the trains have been halted. No one go outside because the snow is so extreme. This was the snow that we're talking about. This right here is the snow that we're talking about. We're not made for extreme weather. Europe generally is a pretty safe place in terms of weather, but that also means that if we have just a slight deviation from that, the entire thing just doesn't work. Whereas in Canada, they look at the snow and it's like, whoa, that's a nice summer day. Their infrastructure is made for a lot of snow. We are not. In the same way, if it's a pretty decently warm day, if it gets to 30 degrees, our houses are very much made to trap heat inside. We don't have air conditioning. Air conditioning in this world, right here, is only for shops and cars. If you're not in a shop or you're not in a car, you don't have air conditioning. Why would you need air conditioning? That's so weird. Like, you don't do that. You don't place air conditioning in your house. Why would you place air conditioning in your house? It's only for a select few people that are kind of weird, kind of looked upon weirdly. It's like, you got air conditioning? What are you, American? It's like getting a double door fridge. If you have a double door fridge here in Europe, you're looked upon weirdly because you don't do double door fridges. That is so American. That's so weird. So it's not in our culture. And because of that, what you have is that the moment it gets to be 33 or 30 plus degrees or near the 30 degrees Celsius, what you see is that other countries that are very much used to this summer weather, they cope with it just fine. We don't. We don't at all. Our houses trap the heat so much you can't sleep. And also what I think is also one of the problems is that human bodies can slowly but surely over time adapt to the weather. So if you're from Europe or from somewhere else and you've ever gone on vacation to a warm country, you arrive there for the first time and it's like, it's so warm and it's so bright. So like when I would go to Spain, I would go on vacation for 3 weeks. I would go there. It was so warm, so bright. I could not even look into the sun. I would have to walk around like squinting like this the entire time because I just couldn't see in the sun. It was so bright. And within 2 or 3 days, I would adapt. I would be fully used to it. I'll be able to go around my day perfectly fine. I had no problem going around the sun. I didn't really have to apply that much sunscreen anymore because my body had adapted to, resisting the rays of the sun. I wouldn't get burned anymore. And then I would come back here to Holland. I would find it cold and kind of like not a really nice place to be. And that is something where your body can adapt if you just have enough time to get used to it. But what do we have? We have about 2 or 3 days where it is really, really hot. Then it's like, and with really, really hot, I mean like 33, 35 degrees. Then it gets to be like 19 again. And then it goes back up again. And then it goes back down, and it goes back up. So you never really have the time to adapt. And because of that, it just feels hot the entire freaking time. So that's kind of what we have. The benefit of countries like Spain is also that they have dry heat, while countries like Netherlands and England have a lot of wet heat. And that's also true. We have a lot of humidity, which makes our heat and our cold feel that much colder. Like if we ever have that the temperature dips below 0, we get to -5 or -10. -10 feels really, really cold. And I have family in Canada, and they just experience -40, -50. And they're like, yeah, it's cold. You go outside and you do wear gloves and everything, but it's just cold. It's just like, it's just a -30, right? They're just talking, oh yeah, it was -30 the other day, and I was just walking the dog, and it was fine, right? It's like, it's every other day. If I were to have -30 or -50 here, I feel like I would die in my home. I would have all my blankets around me, my fire going, but it would freeze me to the bone. Because -5 here feels really, really cold, because we have a lot of humid air. And the more humid the air is, the more colder, the more warmer it feels. And I've never really gone to Canada in the winter. I do really want to do it one day. But from what I've heard from the family that's been both over here in the winter and over there in the winter, they said like, well, yeah, their -30 feels somewhat like our -8 or something. It's like, the humidity helps a lot as well. Learning a new thing every day. Yeah, me too. Like, this is what I love about streaming. I talk about these different things. It's like, we're learning different things. And especially also like why different temperatures feel differently. Because honestly, a lot of times that we share these extreme heat warnings. That man, watch out. It turns 25 degrees today. You can die. It's like, you look at that as like a non-European and you laugh your ass off. It's like, what are these people? What are they on about? But yeah, it is literally like, everything here is built different.